hear about the Doig River Cultural Centre from Shona, Nelson, and Tracy Rockwell, which is another beautiful project. Shona is the band manager for Doig River First Nation. She has over 20 years experience working with or for the Treaty 8 First Nations, and she's committed her career to improving the community's governance and administration for the benefit of the band membership. And Tracy is a senior engineer and project manager with over 20 years experience in small community engineering and project management. And she is passionate about energy efficient housing and community buildings.
Well, good afternoon. My name is Shona Nelson, and thank you for the kind introduction. And I work for Doig River First Nation, who are the First Peoples in Northeast BC with Blueberry River First Nation in the Peace Country. And we're really excited to present today, and thank you to Kim for inviting us to participate with my colleague here, Tracy Rockwell. So if you could see on our first screen, we are actually the most northern passive house building in North America. So it's a really great honor for our community, and they're really excited about it. Doig River is located about 70 kilometers northeast of Fort St. John. Next slide, please. And so this is an architectural rendering of our facility, and we've got some more pictures to look at later on. And so you can see Doig River. We are really in the hotbed of oil and gas and natural resource development in British Columbia. And I think the interesting situations being a First Nation, we always have challenges with energy and getting energy to meet the community's needs in an affordable manner. So the idea of a passive house was really interesting to us because there's actually no natural gas that is available to our community. So our buildings, either the homes or the community administration building or the outbuildings, are heated by propane or electricity or old school wood, firewood. And so it's a big economic leakage for the community. But the facility itself has actually been a project that the community's been interested in doing for a number of years. So next slide, please. Tracy?
Okay, so you'll have noticed in the building that the majority of the windows will be oriented toward the south to take advantage of the solar gain in the low winter sun and minimize heat loss to the north. The end gable has been pulled away from the building, and there's a glass curtain wall there that functions as it brings in a lot of ambient light into whoever's standing on the stage or whoever's speaking on the stage or presenting on the stage. So it creates a really softly lit sanctuary. And the roof slope is been designed to accommodate solar panels on the south side that just fit to the roof, to the clip to the standing metal seams. Next slide. So this is a photo of the north side of the actual building, and you will see the curtain wall there next to the gable end. It was very important. One of the most important features for the building was accessibility. And so both the main floor elevation, the sanctuary floor elevation, which is this elevation, and the lower floor elevation, both are completely accessible for wheelchair. Next slide. So this is the south side of the building, and you'll see the solar panels as well as the large lower floor windows. So the large lower floor windows on the three on the right side are for a daycare, and the two on the left side are for an elders facility. It was purposely designed such that the elders and the youth would have time together to learn language and learn cultural how to live culturally, teach the youngsters how to live with their culture. Shona, I don't know if you want to add anything to that.
Sure. Yeah, the facility was actually started, we did planning for it back in 2014, 2015. And as part of a lot of grassroots workshops with the band members, They used to have a church and it burnt down in the 90s, and they really indicated that they wanted to have one again, but also we needed a location for the elders to gather, and also early learning programs and daycare. So we decided to consolidate it all into one building when we had the opportunity to do so. And so this is like up top in the community. The one thing I think we should mention is that in Northeast BC, in particular, Fort St. John area, Peace Country, we have a lot of months of sun. And so hence the solar panels up top. And obviously in the design, that was a consideration. So it is really a multi-use facility. And unfortunately, due to COVID, we really haven't been able to get in there and use it. So everyone's getting really antsy to use it. So hopefully the restrictions will come down soon, and we can have a big open house and have everyone there. Oh, sorry. My apologies. MacBooks. And so yeah, it's a big feature. Our community, our members are very social. We have about 150 members that live in Doig River. And a big thing is intergenerational transmission of culture. And this space will allow us to do that. Tracy?
Next slide, please. Would you like to talk, Shona, to buy Passive House?
Sure. So actually, the city of Fort St. John undertook a really great project in doing a passive house in Fort St. John, and in a lot of our relationships and meetings with the city, we were quite interested in what they were doing. And obviously, the big need for our community is some economic resilience, and being able to have high-end buildings that are efficient and that allows us to have some cost efficiency, and in the long months that we have in Northeast BC of winter. And another thing is our community leadership. They're really about being in tune with the environment. They are active land users, and the quality of the facility is important to them, that it's a high-end structure, but also with a lot of natural materials that they could incorporate. And also it's just in line with their values of using solar, and we've been putting solar panels in the community on the homes, and just trying to be aligned with their community values, and appreciating what we have, and using all those resources in not a great destruction to the land, like a small impact. And so solar is really aligned with that. And the passive house concept was very appealing to the community. And they wanted a long-term building. The last major building that they had built at Doig was the van administration office, and that was in 2001. So this is a really big deal in the community, and we've done a lot of landscaping and outdoor structural work, and we've got buses for the preschool, and everyone's really excited. So it's created a lot of energy and positivity in the community. They are just so looking forward to it. And when you've got elders pretty excited, it's a good day, and they will be the ones to have their first meeting, as in the previous building opening. They always lead the show, and they'll be meeting in their elders lounge, the Dani Chiyu. Next slide.
So we have limited data on this, but right now it's looking like the existing administration building in the very similar area is costing about $50,000 a year for heating. And with the new Passive House community building, it's somewhere in the neighborhood of $2,000 a year for heating. So just a phenomenal difference in price, although that is with limited data. Next slide, please. This is a picture of the sanctuary. So you'll notice the curtain wall at the end that provides the soft lighting around the stage. And the wood slats are acoustical with acoustical membrane behind that. The building envelope itself is exterior. There's interior and exterior insulation. And I think it's something in the neighborhood of 16 inches thick on the outside. So one of the major building issues was where to find structure, with that much exterior insulation. Next slide. Unless Shona, do you want to talk to this?
Sure. So obviously you see our instruments there, and I think the lighting up top, I'm sure we could have a rock concert and have Van Halen, you know, be there, and it would be amazing. Even better than the lighting in Fort St. John, the Northeast Cultural Centre. But a big part of the sanctuary area, it's not just meant for church, but although they like to play music and whatnot, is for the youth to have music lessons, and also the performing arts is a big thing in our community. So you could see there on the stage that with the lighting, they'll be able to do some presentations, concerts, and also, you know, dramatic performances. So, and the light there is just amazing with those we call them curtain walls or something like that on the side there, but they're just so cool, and it's beautiful light in there. It's such a great feeling to be in that building.
Next slide, please. There is a mezzanine in the building, and it's just due to the roof shape, there's the ability to put a mezzanine up there. So it's a viewing area. It's just an extra bonus space, if you will. Next slide. And so the lower floor, Shona, do you want to talk about the daycare?
Sure. So this is the preschool where we'll house our Aboriginal Head Start on Reserve program and after school care programming. So in the back corner there is a nursery room where babies can sleep, and then there's an office, and you'll see there's a door there that's connecting, and that connects over to the elders lounge where they're able to come back and forth in the space. And even the furniture here that we've ordered from Natural Pod is environmentally sustainable and made with very good products. And so yeah, this is just a small snapshot of it, but when I took the photo, the big windows are behind us and they're super thick, and the light comes in, it's just really warm in that building.
Next slide, please. Would you like to talk about the benefits, Shona?
Sure. Well, the obvious one being the low operating costs. It's a very warm and cozy building for heat when you're in there, and the temperature. And I think the lighting alone just gives everyone positive energy. You know, winters get long sometimes and dark. And so when you're in there, it makes everyone feel better, good spirit. And the community for sure is so proud of it. They take great pride in their buildings. And I have to say, working for Doig River, they always like to be number one. They just like to take on innovative projects and take that risk and lead the way in, you know, Treaty 8 territory. And I think that this project itself, being a big one, is really reflective of those values and their willingness to take on new projects with some risk. That's something that's never really been done in our area. And the landscape of just coming into the community now has changed significantly. And it's working for that community and being a part of that community for over 20 years. It's just awesome to see. And I think Tracy could reiterate that. She's been working with Doig for many years.
Yes, I would agree, Shona. Thank you. And next slide, please. I could speak to some of the challenges. So as beautiful and spectacular as the building is, and multi-purpose that it is, and there's just a million benefits, it was not without its challenges. And I think one of the challenges was the contract type. This project ended up being a cost plus contract, which meant a lot of risk for Doig and very little ability to control the project costs. So I would be very cautious about contract type in the future. This is a relatively unfamiliar construction approach, and especially given the very thick building envelope with, with basically insulation on the outside for, several inches. And it created, the local people, the local tradespeople were, I would say they were afraid of this building. We tendered it originally as a CCDC2 contract, which fixed price. And the price came in very high with a lot of risk built in, we felt, due to lack of knowledge. Another issue that we had, and I'd like to speak to that, because I do think that these forums are fantastic, but I would really like to see construction associations being taught and trained and educated on the technology, the physical construction part of building these types of buildings, because right now I do still feel like there's a considerable amount of fear in the industry. We had issues with a non-local contractor and the local contractors in the area wanting to be paid almost instantaneously. Because of the Northeast has got a lot of large industrial projects going on, and the local contractors and local vendors are very sensitive about payment. And they were very unforgiving having a non-local contractor, and yet there was no local contractors interested in the project. And I would say the last thing I would say is the project was very expensive, cost per square foot, very expensive. And I do think there was a lot of learning in there, but I do think a lot of that was tied to the type of contract that it was. Next slide, please. Shona, do you want to talk to this?
Sure. Would we do it all over again? Absolutely. I mean, it's amazing building, and the community's going to use it for a long, long time, and it will offer huge benefits. On a go forward, we would look at different types of contracts, better understanding of the project costs. And I think Tracy really hit on it, the challenge of being in the Northeast. And we already have challenges with competing with oil and gas and the Site C dam being constructed, getting subcontractors at reasonable prices that would fluctuate and change on us. And that I would agree that there needs to be more training. There's very few people in our area, Northeast, that have a passive house experience or knowledge on it, and education, I think, is critical. But having a local general contractor with some specialized subs ones, I think, to Tracy's point, is very, very well needed. And but we are really happy that it's been completed, and it has been a great learning experience. And I'm really looking forward to being able to track the expenses in and around the energy consumption and use, and what we actually save. So for example, like Tracy had said, in our van administration costs, like we put out about $56,000 last year just in propane costs alone to heat it. And the passive house building here has already proven to be less in energy costs. But once we get going and it's being used actively, I think we'll be able to get some really good data on it. But I think the project overall is so well aligned with Doig's values and the community. And I think that it's going to be a showpiece. And in Fort St. John, I know our local mayor and council are really excited about it, and everyone likes to come out and check it out. And they're just can't wait for COVID to be over so that they can do so. And but thank you for your time. This has been a great pleasure on behalf of the nation, and I really enjoyed the last presentation. Looking forward to the next one.